Hi, my name is Aries, and I talk about books sometimes, and today we're going to talk about the books that I completed reading in the month of April 2023. In the month of April, I read 9 total books. That includes 3 audiobooks and 6 physical books, and that is surprising because usually it's a lot more audiobook heavy. But I didn't spend a lot of time working in the month of April, and so I didn't have a lot of time to just listen to books. In my May TBR video, I mentioned that my brother in the month of April challenged me that I couldn't read 5 very specific books, and I did. And I completed it, and that's pretty exciting. First and foremost is audiobooks. I listened to A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. I think I gave this one 3 stars. It was kind of long, but I understood why, all the detail was necessary. I think that everything that happened in it made a lot of sense to me. I think Gracewood being mad at one point really makes a lot of sense to me. It feels very much like a betrayal of trust. And that made a lot of sense to me. And then the fact that they overcame it and everything ended up being a happily ever after is like a chef's kiss. We love a happily ever after story. I listened to Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl by Joya Goffney, and I only gave that one 3 stars. I listened to a different Joya Goffney one, and I thought it was absolutely magnificent, and I was really excited for this one. But it just didn't deliver, and I think it dragged on a lot more than I expected it to. I think there's a lot of things that could have been changed up and would have helped it. The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab, and I gave that one 3 stars. And then I also listened to the little snippet about Cole, the 0.5, the one, I don't know what it's called, but I listened to that one as well. This one I just picked up because I listened to it because I was just looking for something that was available right then to listen to. And my experience with V.E. Schwab is that I really like their writing. So I went ahead with it, and I liked it a lot. And considering it's one of their books, I was very pleasantly surprised. Let's say that. Now on to physical books. Even though this is not the order that I completed them in, we can just get right into it. I finished reading Under Wildwood by Colin Malloy, and I gave it 3 stars. This is the second in a trilogy. I do plan on reading the 3rd one. So far, this is just a 3-star trilogy for me. It's nothing substantial. I think I would like it a lot better if it was a longer series instead of 3 600-page books. I think I would prefer it to be 6 300-page books, if that makes sense. A Very Merry Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams, and I gave this one 4 stars because I will always give Lyssa Kay Adams 4 stars. I am very much a believer that Christmas things only belong in December, so the fact that I read this outside of December, actually in the spring, is kind of unheard of for me, but I was so excited. I didn't even know this was coming, and then I figured it out, and I got it as soon as I could, and I read it as soon as I could, and it was a good time. And it wasn't too Christmas heavy. I find that sometimes Christmas books are very Christmas heavy, and I feel yes, it was around Christmas time, but it wasn't Christmas heavy to me. I also read Nanny Dearest by Flora Collins, and I gave this one 4 stars. Fun backstory on this one is that we went into the store and bought some books, and I ended up picking up a different edition of a book that I had already had, so we had to return it. So I sent my brother in with the book to return and let him swap it out for whatever he wanted, and this is what he came back with. And this was magnificent. It kept me on my toes. I wasn't sure who done it. The only thing I'm concerned about is Flora Collins, if you're okay. Are you okay? Because it says it's based off of true events, and that's a little stressful. But otherwise, it was such a good read, and it was quick, and it was light. Not the content, but it was a fast, it just right through it, and it was so good. As a rule, I do not actually put ratings on true crime and stuff, but I read Helter Skelter by Vincent Bugliosi, I don't know, Vincent, the guy that worked it, and it was really interesting. Don't get me wrong. I really, really found a lot of interesting tidbits in there. But basically, this is a 600-page book telling you how the LAPD really fucking sucks. or used to really fucking suck. So, and like why, like they were missing really big clues and we could have like had it solved, and it was really, really interesting. Like I said, I didn't rate it, but it was not a terrible time. I don't know what I expected. I didn't really go into it expecting that much. I don't know much about Manson. True crime kind of fascinates me, but so it was good. It was, once I got really into it, but yeah, most of this was just telling you how much LAPD really didn't do their job great. And finally, to round us out, the last two, which actually were the first two books that I read in the month of April, I read There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil, The Sinner's Zoology by Sophie Lark. This is an introduction to Sophie Lark for me. I've never read anything Sophie Lark, so that was interesting. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I was expecting a 50 Shades of Grey, Christian Grey, Anastasia Steele dupe, and that's not what this was. It was a little off-putting because it's not what I expected it to be, but I did not hate it, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next and what they were going to do, so that was pretty interesting. As for There Is No Devil, I only gave this one 3 stars. There's a tiny person standing right here, so I'm not going to tell you why I hated it so much, but if you've watched any video of mine that talks about books with adult content in it, you know that there are 2 very specific words that I just do not think need to be used repeatedly over and over and over again, and I felt like every 3rd sentence they were saying those words in this book, at least in the beginning, and I didn't like this one as much. I think it rounded out the story nicely. I really wanted to know more about Cole. He gave us like a little bit. We got a snippet, but like I'd be okay with like an entire Cole book to tell me about like what the fuck, you know? Anyways, that is all I read for the month of April. It was a pretty good month. I did recently quit my job, so I'll have a lot more time to read. I expect a bigger wrap up for the month of May. May is a really busy month for us. I feel like I say that every time, but May is a really busy month for us. So I will be seeing you. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and follow and all those things that YouTubers say, and I will see you in the next one.